codification. I always say codify everything. I mean, that sounds simplistic and it sounds like something to just brush right past. Say, okay, Fuller, codify things. Okay, you said that. You said that over and over again. But that's really it. Now, what do I mean by that? I just mean follow logic. Don't follow Neely Fuller. Don't follow any person. Persons make mistakes. Neely Fuller makes mistakes. That's how I learned, really, by making mistakes and then getting burned by the mistakes and not wanting to make them anymore because it hurt. Okay, mistakes sometimes hurt. Okay, so that's just a learning process. But you're seeking what? Logic. See, we need to seek logic. We don't follow people because even the people that you are following, if they're making any sense at all, they better be using logic. Otherwise, you got no business following them. But what is the person that you are following? That's where you should aim for. Don't follow Neely Fuller. Follow whatever Neely Fuller is following, all right? Or anybody that you see is doing anything that seems to work or that makes sense, because logic came with the universe. Logic or universe was put here, and then people were put in the universe. The universe had to be here before the people were put here. So there's a logic in how the universe was put together. That's why it's called the universe, meaning everything is connected. Everything has a procedure. Everything, like the host has said and repeated, about this program, it's about cause and effect. Everything has a cause. Everything has an effect. When you turn on a light switch and you turn that same switch on over and over again, that's what you call a code. Why? Because you say, I know it's a code because every time I turn it on, if it's got a bulb in it, in that lamp, every time I turn it on, the bulb lights up. That bulb comes on. And when I turn the switch again, the bulb goes off. Now, the light when it's on is not the same as the light when it's off. That's logical, cause and effect. There's a certain procedure you go through to turn out a light, and the light will turn out. You've done it. You've seen it done in the Northwestern Hemisphere sometime, somewhere, and you can hit that switch, and the light goes on again. Off, on, off, on, off. It's something you can rely on unless somebody's pulled the plug or something like that, which means what? You find where the plug is and put it in the socket, and it does it just like it's always done. And it does this over and over again. That's when you know you have a code. You do the thing that always works, and you never do anything that doesn't work. It's not magic. So, see, black people got a lot of slogans, and we got to dump these slogans and just follow logic. Slogans can, they are sort of like signposts and all like that, but we got all kinds of slogans. About every 2 or 3 years, we get a new slogan, and we think that's progress. No, we have a code where you do certain things, and every time you do it, just like that light switch, you get that same constructive result. Every time you do it, it works for you. It doesn't work against you. It always works for you. That's when you know it's a code. Hey, man, every time I do this, every time I say this to this folks, things happen to me that are constructive. I get a lot of benefits from it. Every time I do it, I get benefit. All right? And then there's 1 or 2 things that I do, I don't get no benefit. Well, it's just a matter of getting rid of all the things that don't bring you any benefit and bring on the things that you have tried and tried and tried, and every time you do it, you get a benefit from it. It's a very simple formula. The white supremacists know that formula very well. They drill it into every other prospective white supremacist because it's the fundamentals of the universe. That's what they tap into. It's not an emotional thing. It's not personal, it's business, as they say in the mafiosa. You can't get emotional about it. I mean, the light switch will come on. Fire will burn. Water is wet. It doesn't make any difference how you feel. But black people have been systematically trained to rely on their feelings in everything and never use logic. And your feelings are unreliable because they change every 2 or 3 minutes. Well, I wouldn't have done that, but that's how I felt about it at the time. Well, did you think about it rather than trust your feelings? Maybe if you had thought about it, because thinking means when you start thinking, you're apt to use something called what? Logic. And logic is just like a lamp switch. On, off, on. It works every time if you do certain things and put those certain things in place. When that electrician leaves and says, this will work, and it will work for the next, most likely, the guarantee on it is 5 years. That's absolute. All right? You don't have to guess about that anymore. And that's what we need, a code where we don't have to guess about anything. But the white supremacists want black people to have to guess about everything. That's why you see the old cartoons. What is a black person doing? Scratching his head with a big question mark over his head, standing there with his eyes bugged. It used to be a movie, the characters, not disparaging the character or the man. It was a character in the old movies, 1940s movies, called Mantan Moreland. Mantan Moreland was always confused about everything and always had his eyes bugged. Why was his eyes bugged? The bug-eyed Negro. Why was his eyes bugged? Because everything is a mystery. Can't figure out nothing. Got to go and find a white person to say, hey, come over here, boy, and I'll explain it to you. Me, I'm a white man. I can explain things. I understand cause and effect. I understand light switches. I understand what is reliable and what isn't. Like you Negroes are not, because I trained you not to be reliable, even with each other. That's all it is in answer to the question. That's a lengthy answer, but it's really a simple answer. Cause and effect. That's what we have to tap into, not what we call these slogans, get together. I hope I never hear that again, ever in my existence. Black people need to come together. My goodness, come together in what? And usually we say coming together means we come together and stand shoulder to shoulder. Shoulder to shoulder where? Doing what? With what result? Well, we all together. We all here, and we all together. We were to shoulder to shoulder on the slave ships. See what I mean? Shoulder to shoulder doing what? That's not science. Just some black people crowded somewhere into a room shoulder to shoulder. We have always been crowded somewhere shoulder to shoulder. That's not a formula for success. As individual persons, we need a code so that one black person can go anywhere on the planet any time of day or night and know exactly what to do and what not to do. That should be our goal. Now, I'm going to say that again. One black person, each and every black person, everywhere, each and every non-white person. Somebody wakes you up in the middle of the night. We should have a code that anywhere a person takes you anywhere on the planet, blindfolded, and then takes the blindfold off and walks off from you, and you look around, and in 15 or 20 minutes, you know exactly what to do and what not to do. That's the kind of people we should be aiming to be. And none of us are like that. You don't find even white people like that, all right? But that should be our aim. Nothing short of that will do. Somebody drop you off in the Arctic Circle at midnight, and you look around and you say, hey, I know exactly what to do in the Arctic Circle, and I've never been there before, all right? But I'm codified because I know cause and effect. I understand cause and effect. I know exactly which direction I should move in and what I should have and how I'm going to get it and all like that. That should be our goal. Now, that's a pretty big goal. That's a bigger goal They're just trying to get a new car and some bling, which is what our goals are now, and show off to a handful of black people that we know. That's the average black goal, even among tribal members all over the world. Showing off to a few other fellow prisoners, because we're all prisoners, in the cell block. That's what we do. Truth be told, we got to have a bigger mind than that, and that's all we got to do is just put it in our minds. We should be able to function anywhere. That same thing called black community, our community should be wherever we go, because that's how the white supremacists look at the universe. There's no such thing as a white community, except they communicate with each other according to a code. And they go anywhere in the universe, and they claim, I'm where I should be. Why? I'm a white man, and I should be anywhere I want to be.